You can destroy planets, but you can never destroy what I am, friend.
Oh, so happy. Why exactly are you blue?
Because I'm a cat.
You are to blame for this, Satan. Why do I ever listen to you?
By the power of Grayskull.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Killer. Let her get away, Mommy. Don't let her live.
I won't.
Like, wow, a talking skull. Like, wow. I'm so scared. I wish I had a ham sandwich to calm my nerves. I'm not afraid.
You will be. You will be. Such heroic nonsense.
Everyone likes cookies. Warm and delicious.
Warm and delicious? Sounds like my 2 scoops of raisins.
These ghostly sounds are coming from Jungle Gems in the cereal aisle.
I like my cookies too, but we'll let the boys and girls decide.
It's kind of scary.
He likes his cookies too.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is Podcasting from Beyond the Grave.
And I am Donnie, and we are here with Brad. And Brad is here with our guest tonight. Jason, who is our guest tonight?
I guess everyone is here with him, not just me.
Tonight's guest, for the first time, and hopefully not for the last, my brother Stuart Raymond is here with us.
Hey, Steve, what's up, buddy?
Yes, I am here.
Excellent. So glad I brought you on. Today is maybe going to be a noisy podcast. I don't have microphone stands that work on this particular table we're sitting at. We're sitting at a special table. We are in Cincinnati right now, almost in the heart of Cincinnati. And we rented a place, and we went to look at a bunch of comic books and toys, and did not make a dent in our in my scheduled planned outing.
So how many places were we actually supposed to hit today? Because I've seen the list, but I didn't count them all.
I'm going to estimate that it was 28.
Today?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, we killed, I know,
How
at
would
least...
we do 28 I don't know. I felt so useful. Everybody was like, hey, let's go to Cincinnati. I was like, yeah, we'll go to... I was like, we'll go to other comic book shops. There's a lot of freaking comic book shops in Cincinnati that I wasn't aware of.
So it was more or less us taking too long or too far apart in distance, maybe?
I think he was a little over-ambitious with the amount of
we're
stops.
young, we'll get up there, we'll spend a half an hour at each place. It only takes 20 minutes to get there.
But you have 28 stores. If you spent 15 minutes in each store and then averaged in the time you had to travel in between, I think that would...
I think it was 28 hours. I think that's the total. So that's
and that didn't even count Hooters for lunch. So
you would probably have only been able to go to the place, walk in the store, turn around, walk back out, nice. Get in the car, and drive to the next place.
Would you call it earlier a Bambi walk or something?
For those of you who don't know, people who live in Louisville sometimes frequent a place called the Bambi Bar. And there is a stretch of bars on Bardstown Road that you start out at one place and you end up at the Bambi Bar. And that is what we call the Bambi Bar walk.
Yeah, because the Bambi Bar crawl? Or?
Yeah, it could be a crawl after
if
you
can
go
make it
circle.
there, yeah, you did pretty good.
Unfortunately, I do not know the correct amount of different bars that you would go to end up at the Bambi Bar. So maybe that's something we need to figure out for
7 or something? It has to be a decent number to really warrant the...
He could have asked Mr. L.
Mr. Owl.
Mr. Owl, you know. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll sitting there with a Tootsie Pop? I don't know.
Hello,
That's
Mr.
Owl.
That was so
Hello,
awesome.
Mr. Owl.
Everybody
How many
stared
drinks
at
does
Donnie
it take to
at
get
the
to the
same
baby
time.
bar?
It was like,
That's all it takes
why does
is
he
one.
keep saying owl? This is pop culture reference I don't understand.
Well, sorry. In my world, I would have got that.
I do want to give a shout out to Laser Raptor. I bought a beer, a craft beer, at the Jungle Gyms, and there's a raptor with lasers on the label. It's pretty good. It's a good flavor. That'd be a fun one to pick up every now and then. But I think $4.49 a can is probably a little much.
Maybe $3.50.
Maybe about $3.50. Okay, now what?
Well, I guess we could talk about the places that we did go to today.
And where did we go?
Well, when we first got there, did we go to the toy department first?
No.
No, we went to.
We went to Comics to Games. It's in Florence, y'all. That place is jam-packed with nothing but goodness.
Man, I could really spend... Well, how long did we spend? Because I know we was in there for...
Probably good 45 minutes or
Well,
so.
as you walk into the place, it's typically comic book land. You got your boxes all rolled out, and then on one side was glass case with nothing but statues of different venues.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Yes.
Thousands and thousands of dollars in statues.
Yes. They had some really cool busts.
Yep.
They had
Chris with a great big
plenty
bust.
of resin.
Spider-Man one too, yes.
Yeah.
And then they had on the other wall was nothing but new comics. And then there was another room that had wall-to-wall
pinball machines.
No,
No,
that's
that
the
one.
third room.
That's the third one.
That's the third room. That place had 3 rooms. And they actually had an active Dungeons and Dragons game going on in the back.
Oh, and they're in the back, yeah, back there by the action figures, yeah.
So, if you ever get to go to Florence, y'all, that would be a place to check out.
Comics to Games. So after that, I thought it would be fun to go to a regular store.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh, at the Florence Y'all, which is supposed to be a mall, but they call it a Y'all.
And there was Italy circus going on out in the parking lot.
Cirque d'Italy. I think that's incorrect.
Yes. And then we went to FYE, and it was terrible. I thought. I mean, we found a couple of things, but it was kind of like, wow, I thought FYE had more stuff than this. It was kind of sad. At least I thought.
Most of the walls were bare.
The FYE was poorly stocked. It was not.
But around the corner, though, we hit that one place that was wide open with a little bit of everything in there.
Hot Topic for like a quick second, and then turn the corner, and it's like everybody here cleaned out their closets at the same time and put stuff out for sale.
The Halloween store.
Yes, the Halloween Plus store.
Yeah, the Halloween. Yeah, they had posters and comic books. Some for $2.
Power of the Force figures, and like a lot.
But see, that was
one.
They rented out the
the
majority of the place where you could sell your '90s worthless Star Wars toys,
and video games.
But they also had
Funko Pops,
Wii games. They had Xbox games. They had 360 games. They had Atari games, Sega games, Pops.
Yep.
Legos?
They had some Halloween stuff in the back.
They had a few Halloween items.
I was very tempted to get the bride mask that they had there.
They are essentially a horror store because they told me that they had went to Horror Hound in Cincinnati, which is a big convention last week. So they sold a lot of merchandise there. That's probably how they keep going, I would assume.
But there was
lots of cool mass trick or treat studios. So it was good stuff.
It's like IDS Entertainment is what they call themselves.
Big killer clowns from outer space displayed behind the counter. I like that.
Yeah, those are gross and awesome.
Interesting people that ran it.
Yeah. So. Ran into a sad GameStop.
Yes, I think we walked through that and then turned around and walked out.
Why did you think the GameStop was sad? I looked and there was quite a bit of stuff in there.
Well, the
There
Spawn,
was like the
She Spawn was
two
cool.
towers of action figures, which there was some new stuff.
They had the new
too.
Robin from the.
Yeah.
No, that was in the.
Oh, that was the
FYE.
FYE.
No. GameStop had the
no,
Robin
they had
from
the-
Arkham.
The video game or something.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just, to me, it was just immediate. It's like, there ain't nothing special in here. But I hear about GameStop and people get stuff there all the time. You stop by GameStop like
I get
nonstop,
lucky
and it's like,
every now and
good
then.
God.
Yeah. I like going through there because I know a lot of stuff that y'all buy, so I'll snap a picture and see if you're interested. But yeah, there's always, I find all kinds of cool stuff in there usually.
Actually, the whole mall was kind of sad.
Well, the FYE had the most interesting thing, and I know I was probably irritating going on and on about it, but seeing those Force Awakens figures from 2015 still on a peg. And I'll tell you the difference between a store that knows what they're selling and a store that does not know what they're selling, because with the toy department, they had some older Star Wars Black Series figures marked $10 because they knew these were figures nobody wanted.
Yep.
The FYE, if you are still trying to sell a figure you have had in that store since 2015, and your sale price is still slightly above retail at other stores.
What was it? $22.99.
$22.99 for a figure that's been there for 7 years. Somebody doesn't understand or doesn't care. So
it wasn't just like they had one leftover that somebody found in the box
No.
when they were cleaning out the stockroom.
No, there was a whole good
It's
run
like
of it.
5 or
like-
6 of them.
Yeah.
And then at Jungle Gyms, I noticed they had several Rise of Skywalker Black Series figures. They had the ever unpopular, what was her name? The girl in the Power Ranger suit.
The Asian girl?
Poe Dameron's girlfriend, who flies in the armor suit.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. They had her, and then they had.
I can't believe we call ourselves Star Wars fans and we don't know that character's name.
Well, it's
Well,
not
there
one of
is
your
a lot to
favorite-
choose from there.
Not one of your favorite movies.
But we can tell that the character who played it, or the actress who played her, was Carrie Russell. So
Carrie
we
Russell,
can't tell.
yes. So we know who was Felicity in the 90s. So we know that. What was her name? Jord Blink something or another. Or, I can't remember. I don't know. She survived. She was the only person, her and the little mechanic. Baba Freak, yes. That's right.
And we can remember that
Babu
guy's
Freak,
name.
yes. They survived that planet's destruction. Anyway, they had her at Jungle Gyms, and for $20-something, and this is a figure that's sat there for 3 years now, and will continue to sit there.
So then we left the Florence Y'all, and we proceeded over to the toy department. Is that correct?
The toy department.
Oh yes, the toy department.
So we have been here before.
Yes.
Well, Stu
Yeah.
hasn't. So
No,
this
I
was
didn't
his
get to
first
go
time.
last- First time.
But last time we had a pretty good time, but this time they seemed to me like they had a lot more stuff. But a lot
I
of
still
the same
feel like
stuff.
they had the same amount. Like every peg is full of. If there was a collection at one time, they had it.
Let's put it this way: when you walk into the place, it is at first you think, "Wow, this place is small," and then you get in the door and you turn the corner and you think, "Holy moly, there is stuff everywhere."
Yeah.
They cram it in there.
Yeah,
It's not like Toy Crazy.
Right.
We'll come back to that. But yes, I mean, as soon as you walked in, there was pegged items of loose figures that were all pegged, prices marked, hanging on pegs.
Oh, and very nice and neat place.
Very nice and neat. You round the corner, and there's a wall of pops. You go down past them, and there is just pegged items on the wall that go on, and it's got everything on it. It's got Legends. It's got it had some multiverse stuff. It had the new DC line. And then you could turn a corner and there's more stuff that's on pegs. And you turn another corner, there's more stuff on pegs. It's probably the most stuff we've seen on pegs in a store at all since Toys R Us.
Since 1986.
Yes.
I know. I was like, because we all kind of split up, and then of course, like you said, you turn around the corner and there's this and this, and I'm like, oh where's Brad at? I need to show him this. And I'm like, and you go a little further. No, Jason, he would love this, you know. And it's like, oh wow. And then you go to find them, and then what they're looking at is just like, oh, and then you done forgot what you was looking at because they done found something cool. Yes, that place was very neat.
Yeah, they had a lot of NECA figures. They had
Did
some Migos.
Did anybody buy anything at Toy Park?
Yeah, I come out there spending some money. Not
What
too
did
much.
What did you get?
I did buy an SH figure, a Boma from Namek.
Why?
Namek. Oh, that's my favorite. From all the old Dragon Ball Z's.
Like it's been a figure that you've been kind of looking for?
Well,
or
I
you didn't
got
know
it,
they
the old
existed?
Irwin toy one from, back in the 90s, but it's not an SH figure. This one I could take her face off, put another one on if I wanted to.
I could take her face off.
Right, but of course this is never coming out of the box. She looks,
That's so dumb. Anyways.
Man. But they look good sitting in the box though. Where I got them sitting in the box, so it works out, Now if someday will I ever? I don't know, doubt it. But that's just me.
Was that the only figure you bought?
That is the only figure I bought there. Yes, there was probably about 5 more I would have loved to box, but my wallet was telling me otherwise. So,
yeah.
But they have a very nice selection. At least some stuff would look like we all liked, because I know you looked at some Transformers, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you look at it, you don't go in with a plan, but as soon as you see whenever it's coordinated enough and there's all the things you like in one section, it's kind of like, maybe I'll find something, that excitement of like, whether it's even out of box or something, it's like, oh man, I might find something here.
Yeah, it was organized very well as far as, different genres or different types of, Transformers, Turtles, Star Wars Black Series, the comic book related action figures. I mean, they were all separated very easily.
Yeah, they had a G.I. Joe section I seen, and how they had all their Funko Pops in one spot, and then, the old 90s toys, the Batmans with the Batmans, the Supermans, it's all DC with the Marvel and the Marvel, it was perfect. So, yeah, really neat. It wasn't too hard to try to find something you liked in there.
Well, I wound up walking away with a re-release of Doctor Doom from the Legends line in like the old, what was that, late 90s Fantastic Four packaging.
Yeah, it's a vintage.
Yeah, vintage card look.
Yeah.
And I found a McFarlane animated style blue Batman. And then I found Princess Leia and Hoth. And then a Han from Empire. So, depending on how detailed I want to get with my Empire collection, I kind of feel like I'm done. Like, it's like I saw the re-release in Dengar, and I'm like, maybe I might pick him up this time if I see him, and then getting 4LM and, another.
You really should, because
I've already have an IG-88. I got a Boba Fett. I got Bosk.
You should grab Dengar, because he'll become hard to get, even with the re-release.
Yeah.
It'll be like Darth Maul.
Wow. So that's about it on, because I've got Chewie and broken C-3PO. I've got a dirty R2. I've got Luke and Yoda in the backpack. Got Vader. It's like, I got Lando. I have a Lando. I am a person who bought Lando and opened them. But yeah, that's what I got.
So, with the Leia, are you going to open her up?
Yeah.
Are you?
Well, she was loose. Wasn't she loose?
Yeah,
she was. I think her and Han
no,
were
she's
loose.
on card.
Yeah, I thought she was on the card there.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think she was cheap, like
$9. I think.
Yeah,
but
like
I'm really glad
$9.
you bought that Doom, because if you didn't, I was going to.
She was open that Leia up. She's a shelf warmer, and she still is.
I'd rather have something on Bespin, like whenever she's on Cloud City.
Well, that was a Target exclusive. They did make the Leia on Bespin, but
What did she look like? Is it just the
quilt?
White quilt
It's
thing?
similar to what she was wearing on Hoth, but she doesn't have the vest, and it's
Right.
more of a one-piece cotton.
And her hair's different, isn't it? Slightly.
The face is really cool on her. She looks great. I got her. She was
And
a
whose
Target
exclusive was that?
She was a Target exclusive. It's been some years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's actually one of the Leias that's harder to get from that series.
So, Brad, what did you buy?
See, I was.
Or do you not want to?
I'll go
talk
on to
about
what I
your,
got. I got.
treasure, the precious.
I got one of the last 6 vintage Star Wars figures I did not have of the last 17. So now I just need the last 5. It was Luke Skywalker indoor, but he's incomplete, so he's just a placeholder.
Who do you not want to be the very last one?
The very last. Oh, I have a feeling the last one will be R2D2 with
Because
the
it'll be
lightsaber.
the most expensive. Or?
He's just impossible to find, and he's very expensive. Han is not Han and Carbonite. You can find the Han Solo figure by himself, but the Carbonite tray is the key to that one. So to find both of them put together is expensive. General Lando's expensive.
Did he come with the Carbonite?
Yes, the last 17.
Carded?
The last 17 Han Solo came. Yeah, because I had him.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid, but I didn't know how he came in a package
I
either.
thought he only came with the Slave One.
No. That one's pretty. That one's very common to get. It's just one piece. The last 17 Han, he's just in the brown suit, like when he is awakened from the Carbonite, and it comes with a translucent, larger Carbonite tray that fits on top of him, and he also comes with a coin.
Translucent.
Translucent, yes, you could see through it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm just
You ain't never seen.
astonished. No, it's like I've never seen that I'm aware of.
Me neither.
Well, he's not cheap, and you won't see many of him. And the A-wing pilot, which is basically a repaint of the B-wing pilot, the A-wing vehicle was never made until the Ewoks or droids. I think it was droids cartoon. They featured the A-wing in. So the A-wing pilot, I think, was re-released in the droids line as well, as was Boba Fett. They did re-release Boba Fett with the droids figures on a animated card. It was the exact same figure that's been put out since 1980. They put him on a droids card, and that's astronomical.
Yeah.
Of course, finding the figure is the exact same figure, so loose, that doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, I have Luke's, and now I just need 5 more to. That may be a lifelong thing. Finish them up.
Just a slow little build.
And then I bought some Ewoks underoos that were sealed because I have a collection of Star Wars ephemera that's Oral-B toothbrushes and shampoo bottles. And
the coolest
Dixie
thing is
cups
because the packaging is, it's the underoos, and it's never been open.
It's in that
it's
cardboard
in
box that they came in, and
it was neat sitting there seeing it, and then
only in the 80s did we sell.
I mean, but the fact that it survived, like in this weird. If you think about the journey from the store to the home,
that's Grandma's closet, man.
And like because it's weird packaging, it slipped out in between something and stayed there for however long.
I wanted something
before the house went up for sale. Somebody came in and cleaned it out and found it, and the wherewithal going.
Who knows how it got there? It's just, I wanted something sealed, vintage Star Wars, and the
sealed
figures,
underwear. Like nobody ever needed underwear.
The figures were.
The problem never happened. Where it's like, "Ooh, I wish I had one more pair."
Wait, look,
and
I got some underoos somewhere.
Hey, maybe they gave them to a child who didn't like them.
I hate Wicked.
Yep.
I don't want Wicked on my balls.
Hey, now if I get to meet Warwick Davis now, you know what he's going to sign.
Oh, wow.
You know what he's going to
He would hopefully sign that for free. He'd be like, take your money.
I hope so.
I'm going to sign this underwear.
I'd be glad to sign
and then I'll buy a photo of Leprechaun. If
What's really bad, he might own a pair.
You probably got a steel box full of them.
Because he's Warwick Davis, and he's kind of...
He's got them in the trunk of his car, waiting to sign them and give them out.
He's waiting to sign the...
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
Hey, buddy, want to buy some underwear? I'll sell it to you $10.
That's not... You don't do that.
Yeah, you show it to him and say, "Here, sign this." Oh, you got some too, huh?
Somebody gonna call the police real quick if you're out in a parking lot trying to sell
Children's underwear.
If it's Warwick Davis and he's selling underwear, that wouldn't be a problem, right? Oh, that's a...
Because he's gonna bark you down like a carny. He's standing on top of the hood. Come on. Get your autograph. You walk underwear. From the 80s.
And I'm not even sure how I'm going to display it now that I started thinking about it. Because I have some of my shirts that I have
frames. It's big enough. They make frames for records.
It could go in like a record frame.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. Because I've got my Halloween costumes hung up, my Stormtrooper and my Chewbacca costumes.
And get some signed
the underwear.
They could all fit together.
Yep.
My Biker Scout shirt from '83.
All right.
It's all together.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Stuart, what'd you buy?
I bought Roxy Rocket from the New Adventures of Batman Superman line.
So it's a girl figure.
It is a
girl action figure.
She's badass looking too. And I also bought an armored Batman. I think it's a flame armor Batman because it was something where I guess he's fighting Firefly. It always reminded me.
Was it animated style or something?
It's animated style. It always reminded me of a really buff Batman Beyond figure. I always wanted to maybe take that one and convert it into.
Oh, was that the black and blue suit?
The black, and it's got the big gauntlets on it, and he's carrying a freeze gun. So I've thought about maybe changing that up and maybe making it look like a Batman Beyond figure, but I don't know. We'll see.
That was it?
That was the 2 action figures I bought from the toy place. There was so much to choose from. If you don't have an idea of what you're going in there to look for, you will be in there for days and you will think, do I want to spend my money on this? Or do I want to spend my money on this?
Yeah, you could
almost
almost
want to go in debt and spend all my credit card money here? And do I want to go over here and buy this? And oh my goodness, look, they've got that. So, yes, they definitely had a lot of different interesting things there. They had a lot of stuff that you would not normally find.
What we do after that? We went to Queen City Comics,
Yes,
which
that is right next door.
What a fantastic pairing that is. It's a nice shop. It's pretty big. Got a lot of back issues. Got a lot of current stuff. I was very impressed. The 2 places that we went had such a stack of comics, like stacks and stacks.
And a very
not
nice
only
selection.
back order.
They had some books that I haven't seen around in a while that I needed, and man, I was like, okay. So
yeah,
I walked out there with a couple of comic books myself for sure.
Yeah, I bought 3 trades there at Comics to Games, and then what? We went over. Okay, after Toy Department, went to Queen City.
Queen City, yes.
It's a nice place. I bought a couple trades there too.
It was a typical comic book shop. You walk in and it's just tables of white boxes full of comics, and then they had stuff on the wall. They had new and current stuff and some old stuff.
I was just really impressed seeing everybody today always going through back issues. I was like, what's going on? When did you guys like comics?
It seems to be lately that I've gone back and started
but collecting old stuff.
Collecting older issues that maybe I don't have. Mostly the stuff I collect though is based on the artist who actually draws the comics.
Yeah. My idea of back issues is letting Donnie's dad make stuff. He's like, hey, you want any of these Jack Kirby's? Yeah, give them to me. I'll take them.
Yeah, speaking of that, you came across a pretty good find the other day, didn't you?
Oh, did you saw it, Brad? Did you see the text about the Jack Kirby book that Mala and I traded for? That book was like 24 inches tall, 3 inches thick.
Yeah, you could use it as a murder weapon.
I mean,
huge.
It weighs at least 30
I had to
pounds.
carry it out to the car for Dad because.
Well, he sends me.
back
He
in.
texted me. He's like, "Hey, Dad's got this book, and he takes a photo of it. I have no idea the size. It was like it's a Jack Kirby book, and he's like, "Got anything to trade?" And I was like, I could probably dig up something I could trade for that. Yeah, and then y'all bring the book over. I was like, my God, it's huge.
Oh, this thing.
I was like, and then I started feeling guilty. I was like, I have to find some more stuff to trade with Mally.
What are the dimensions on this book?
It's like 24 inches tall, 18 wide.
And it came with a box.
24 inches tall.
Yes.
It's large.
And it weighs, I guess, I said 7 pounds. This ain't.
I think it's heavier than that. I was like, I'm thinking 30. It's probably like 15 or something like that. But it's like, good large. God. And yeah, he brings it over. It's like, shit, I don't know if I got anything to trade for that.
It's Kirby-esque. It's sturdy, like one of his.
It's a big Kirby book. It was like originally it was like $200. Looks like somebody had it on sale for like $100 at one time, or Mally got it in some kind of weird trade. But
he said he didn't pay that for it, but he's
But yeah, I was like, I hope I'm trading enough. That's why I was like, yeah, you want to go through records? Go through records. I don't care.
But that's why he said as soon as he's seen it, he says, I know who I can get that to. He automatically went right to you.
I just hope
it's a beautiful book on the arts and it's amazing.
It's like snippets from all the major things that he wrote. Even in the beginning when his artwork was like, that's Jack Kirby. Couldn't really tell. And there's a few of the romance books that he worked on in there. But it hits all Fantastic Four and Captain America. It's just massive. We'll have to do a whole video on it.
There you go.
I had to zoom the camera way back so you could look at it because it's massive. It's like, you don't put it on your lap, your legs are going numb. Anyways, we were at Queen City, bought a few trades there. Y'all seemed to buy some back issues of stuff. Brad got sad because there was a Devil's Rejects poster that he couldn't get. There's a sad story about they had a bunch of them and gave them away.
They gave them away.
Yeah, I'd never seen them.
We were just giving them away.
Promo Devil's Rejects poster. Yeah. It had to be worth something. I don't know why they gave them away. But
And then after that, since we were eating away at the day very quickly, and we're old, we decided to go ahead and just go ahead and skip to Jungle Gyms, the Eastgate Jungle Gyms. There's two of them.
There's Fairfield and there's Eastgate.
And Jungle Gyms, any pictures, things online does not give it credit.
This place is huge.
It's an international market and has a screwed up layout that you could get lost in.
And the world's cleanest bathrooms.
Or the world's greatest bathrooms. Or something. I don't think they're the cleanest because...
Well, they were awarded...
Well, they weren't clean today.
America's best bathrooms.
Yes.
Best one.
Yes, it's very odd when you walk up to where the bathrooms are, and they're porta potties.
And I walk in, and Sturge's like, I guess I'll wait in line. I'm like...
That's what the outside looks like. It looks like a porta potty. So... Jason goes in, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this is a joke.
There's already a line for other
world's
people.
greatest bathroom, and there's a line to get in the women's restroom, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm supposed to stand here and wait for him to get done. And he opens the door all the way, and it's like, oh, it's hollow, and there's another door behind it. Oh, so we can just go in. So I feel stupid now. But still, it was like, holy crap, this is the world's greatest bathroom.
Yeah, it's
a porta potty.
It was like Doctor Who, the TARDIS, whenever you look at it, it's a phone booth, and then you open up the door, and it's like...
But they had an outhouse in between the two doors, if you notice, and it says you can take a picture for free. So I thought that was funny that there's advertising that you can sit here on this outhouse in between
a small movie theater
and take your picture.
Yes, and then they had
you can sit and watch the story.
Oh, that was off to the other side. Yeah, they had the movie theater.
Yeah,
the small movie theater.
It was playing something that looked like an old reel-to-reel film from high school. And it would tell you the whole story of Jungle Gym and how it was started.
But we sidestepped that. We didn't do that. And then we got lost 7 times trying to find snacks.
Yes, the whole point was to go and get
And then it was kind of like, I'm going to get over here and I'm going to start.
Well, I had to find the Witch's Cauldron. I was going to find
That's right.
Winnie Witch's Cauldron.
And why did you have to find Winnie Witch's?
Because it was the ride at Kings Island, Hanna-Barbera Land. It was next to the Enchanted Voyage where Tag came from as we came up here last time. So this time we didn't bring anything home, but I did get to see another part of Kings Island, Hanna-Barbera land.
Did I hear correctly that you bullied small children to get out of it so you could get a picture of it?
No, the parents yelled at them to get out of the.
Okay.
Because I stood there patiently waiting for these
There's a
children.
weird man standing by the cauldron. He's
wants
got a
to-
camera.
Get out now! Run, children, run!
Well, they wouldn't get out of it. They just. I was like, "How long are you going to say?" They took their pictures. The parents took the photos. The kids smiled and they did all this. Eventually, you have to get out. No one else wants to
Your
take
turn
it.
is over now. Move.
Well, the parents
There's a
were
grown man
reasonable.
that wants a picture with
They were
those
just like-
kids. Come on.
And then the monorail, because the jungle monorail was in front of the store. So I found all the relics that have survived in the 2 jungle gym stores.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What did we do after that?
We found snacks.
Well, you skipped Hooters.
Oh, yeah. Hooters was before we went to Jungle Gyms.
Yeah, that was before.
So everybody was starving. We went to Hooters.
That was lunch. Big fish sandwich.
Big Brad had it was a good shoe size
Oh
of
my God.
fish sandwich.
Yes.
I had buffalo tacos.
Chicken tacos.
Chicken tacos, yeah, that's it.
And so that was.
This is such interesting content.
But everybody's turning off the podcast now. I'm not listening to this no more.
Fast forward 10 seconds.
So yes, we had lunch and then we went back on the adventure of finding
we went
toys
to
and
Jungle
comics.
Gyms, and then we came to the house that Brad
built.
No, that Donnie,
Donnie found this on what, Airbnb?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I think it was bookings.com, not sponsored.
Yeah. I ain't sure, but yeah, it's a 2-bedroom, big dining room here, living room, nice kitchen. It's all furnished, got dishes. And I was kind of worried about that at first. I said, man, because we was at Jungle
And
Gym.
coffee. It had
Yes, it had coffee too. Brad was very happy about that. He
was happy.
He brewed him a cup right away.
And somebody found Ewoks on the TV.
Oh yes, they had Disney Plus. So so Brad was
okay.
like quick to say,
let's watch
some
have
Ewoks.
underwear cartoons.
He immediately had to break the underwear out of the box and go sit in front of the TV and watch Ewoks.
with a box of cereal. Yeah.
Yeah, so the box of cereal.
be very funny.
Yes.
Well, the night's still young, so this might still happen.
I think I'll be asleep by then.
Yeah.
The after party's about to start right now. Well, okay, so I had many other comic shops on the roster, and it's just not going to happen. I had such high hopes. We had a bunch of record stores that I had on there. We got to be out of here by 10 o'clock tomorrow, so...
Well, that's what I'm saying. We can leave here and maybe hit 1 or 2 places.
Hey, man, I'd open up till noon.
We'll take a long lunch.
Go back to Hooters.
I hear Hooters is open on Sunday.
They may not open till noon.
Not open
They
till-
got to open up at noon for the church
I
crowd.
don't
could
think they have a
investigate
breakfast bar.
That one question that you had, that burning question,
Yeah,
you
I
could
could-
find out.
I could probably.
No, we
Do
won't.
they have a breakfast menu?
Yes. That's what I want to know.
Can you get hash browns at
You can't get tater tots.
Yes, it could not get tater tots.
There's probably
we almost packed up in
She was like, hey, that's on the kid menu.
There's probably a survey
And?
you could take.
You're giving me curly fries instead.
Top 10 answers.
But she was laughing at Stuart's joke because she was flattering him. So
Yes, she was trying to get a
A
bigger
nice
tip.
big fat
Yes.
tip.
It's like, oh, you're so funny.
Oh, you're so clever.
You're so clever.
Don't be jealous.
So now what? What are we going to talk about? We got another 50 minutes to
got
clog up the airwaves.
50 minutes. Yeah. Well, we had a good time for sure because
So we'll have to figure out how to do it one more time.
Yeah, because,
or
yeah, this was
through another
great.
3 times to come up here and try to visit other places, because there were still other places I wanted to go that I thought would be really cool.
well, maybe next time we'll try them instead
We'll,
of
we'll
hitting
just go back the other way. We won't start at the top. We'll start at the bottom.
and work way down then.
Yeah.
As many times as we ran around the city today, we probably could have touched on some of
This
those.
is very true. I believe we did make a nice queue by the time we
Queue?
were done as we wrapped ourselves around the city. I think we did did that.
Yes, I think we crossed the river at
It
least
was
twice today.
Yeah, it was an upside down satanic Q is what it was. That's how that works.
I know the first. What was the name of the first place we went to again?
Comics to games.
That gentleman in there was super nice.
Yeah.
He was walking through, talking to you,
expressing his love of comics and not in a creepy way.
No, and I thought he was a very nice guy.
I felt
knew what he's
safe.
talking. Knew what he's talking about. But yes, we didn't get to the fun part about that place though, because there was 3 levels of that place. You got the comics, and then the toys, and the D&D. But then you go into the arcade back there.
Yeah.
How many pinball machines and shit back there?
At least 30.
No, I think it was less than that, but it was a good amount. It was very surprising. You had to play what, Brad? You had to play.
I had to play the Halloween pinball machine, and it was pretty impressive. It was fun. It had a lot of really good sound effects on it, lots of neat features, light up pumpkins, and lots of dialogue about.
It was
I shot him
to
6
you.
times, but
Yeah. It was talking to you when you was
Donald
playing it.
Pleasance was talking to me through the game.
Yeah.
Dr. Loomis from the grave. And so that was, and I love that they placed it right next to the Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle. So we have Alice Cooper right next to Michael Myers, and that kind of fit. They had some cool art on the wall. Some of the art from the game, actually, from the Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle. They had it looked like.
Really, I didn't see that.
It was framed. It was right above. They had an Addams Family movie poster right behind it. I liked a lot of the displays he had on the walls. He had a giant Muppets display.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Muppets guy, but I liked what he had up there. It was like Animal and.
How can you not like Animal? Come on.
Well, no, I saw the Muppet movie in theaters as a kid when Animal. And all I remember from that movie is Kermit singing in the swamp and Animal becoming supersized at the end and busting through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, I think I stood up and cheered when that happened. And I don't remember why he did it. I haven't seen that movie in so long. But
you need to remedy that.
Why?
Just go and watch it again.
Why does Animal become supersized?
There was a
Ray? Some kind of. He was supersized.
No, weren't they trying to steal Gonzo's chickens?
Yeah.
And they were going to make giant chickens.
This is like.
Yes,
man, I've seen it.
We could be making all this up right now, but I feel like they were trying to get the chicken.
I think there was some kind of Ray involved.
Wasn't it some kind of guy who was wanting Kermit to be the sponsor for Frog Legs?
Frog Legs, yes.
I do remember and wasn't Big Bird on the road and they meet Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
They got a Dr. Teeth show coming out.
Well, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
As long as Rolf is on there. Rolf sometimes isn't part of the Electric Mayhem, but Janice is always.
I feel like the guy who was trying to get Kermit to sell his legs for the ad, who was that actor?
He was a character actor. He's been in tons and
I know,
tons
that's
of
what I'm
stuff.
trying to think. I can almost see his face, but I can't.
You know, we have access to the internet here. Well,
Carrie Russell played.
I thought maybe we knew off bat.
Who did she
Felicity
play?
was in the Muppet movie.
Skywalker. No, her name was Zori Bliss. Was the name of the.
That is correct.
Zori Bliss.
We're going back to that.
Wow.
Well, I had looked it up and then I forgot.
Fantastic
and then you mentioned using the internet's power to figure out burning questions.
We probably lost 2 subscribers.
Carrie Russell, who was actually pretty good in the movie Antlers. If you ever went to the film Antlers, did you see that?
I wanted to see that.
She stars in it and she's really good. And she carries the film.
Awesome.
Who does?
Carrie Russell.
Oh, Carrie Russell. Just make sure.
Zori Bliss.
The guy that was trying to turn Animal large. That guy.
Yes.
Sure
that was the original question.
I was trying to figure out who was.
No, I'm saying I don't remember. But the Muppet movie itself, I think the Muppets Take Manhattan. I remember that one too.
Yeah, because
I think my favorite would be, of course, the Muppet movie, but I would have to say Muppets Treasure Island was pretty funny too.
What's his face? Curry's in that. Tim Curry. He's like a pirate or something.
And I remember seeing Alice Cooper on the Muppet Show, which ties it all back to the pinball machine.
Wow.
And Alice sang "Welcome to My Nightmare."
So many circles.
One of the first times I got to hear some Alice Cooper songs. Of course, my favorite episode was the Mark Hamill with 3PO and R2 episode.
Yeah.
I would always, when the Muppet Show would come on, I would always hope it was that episode, and often it was some celebrity of the time I didn't know who they were. Or somebody.
I don't know who this is.
Yeah,
Who's David Bowie?
Well, it wasn't even him. It would be somebody some folk singer or
John Denver.
yeah, I think he was
Yeah.
on there. What was her? Judy, Crystal
God.
Gale, somebody like that.
Crystal Gale. Wow.
So often, it was kind of like watching the Scooby Doo movies, and Sandy Duncan's the guest star. It's like I wanted Speed Buggy or Dynamite. I didn't want Don Knotts or
Too much reality. Get it out of here. Get it out, stinking up the place.
or Laurel and Hardy. I don't even know who these guys are. They're dead. The three, so
Would have been awesome if they were in black and white while they were on a Scooby Doo cartoon.
like Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Yeah. There is a show. Segue. I don't know if I can make the connection.
Oh, that would have been creepy if they had Laurel and Hardy been black and white.
Yeah.
Because they're dead.
There's a Cupheads
Oh,
on Netflix.
oh my gosh.
Which was a video game originally or something.
Oh yeah, my kids are addicted to that thing.
That have you watched the first episode?
That's what Logan was telling me about. He says.
I
you
mean,
need to
I'm
watch it.
kind
He
of
says it's
hooked,
kinda
but like the
different
second
from
episode, I'm
game.
like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. But that first episode, where the devil put a circus on Earth. Okay, so the show's called Cupheads,
Yes.
and they got cups.
Yes.
For
I,
heads.
I know
Yeah.
what the.
But the
Alright.
animation style is like from
It's like
the
from the
30s,
30s and
20s.
40s and
Yes.
something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
And the devil puts a circus on there, and every time somebody loses, they lose a piece of themselves, and eventually the devil takes your soul out from these games. The games suck your soul out, and everybody's just like running around. And so one of the Cuphead kids keeps winning. The devil's like, what the fuck? And
'Cause
eventually
the
he
devil uses foul language.
loses. He loses his soul, and then his brother is trying to help him get his soul back, and he get it back. And now the devil's like, "Why I oughta?" He's going to chase him the rest of the time in this series to get his soul back. So that first episode is
But
amazing.
the world is so crazy. There's
Yeah.
all kinds of things going on. And it's
Yeah.
something you expect from one of the most crazy
But
animation.
it's another entry into what is becoming a trend, is to take images that appear to be geared towards children and making a very dark
Yes.
subtext, and that's with Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's with Bendy and the Ink Machine, and with this I just looked it up because I haven't seen this before, but it's all
looks very kid friendly, and it is not.
Well, there's something off about it that a parent should be, or an adult look at it and go, there's something odd about this. This looks like something old. So, but it still maybe not keep anybody from watching it. But you
no
should definitely look at it and be like, what is that?
no
And
the
investigate.
the analog horror tapes on YouTube I wouldn't want kids of a certain age watching them, but
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
know
they're
if they-
creepy.
Yeah,
I don't know that it would appeal to them either.
I know Mads watches a lot of that.
Well, I mean, if you're there's a lot of young people that get into horror, even if they don't quite know everything. You know, they're still getting into it. So yeah, I can understand someone trying to get into something like that. It's new and modern, and it ain't nothing. Old guy.
So what else? Everybody went and saw the Batman movie, The Batman, in the theaters.
The other Batman, Morbius. That's all.
I'm not going to talk about
That's all
that.
that Batman.
The reviews have been poor.
I don't
I can't
believe,
talk about
and
They're
and
not
I,
wrong.
I don't always want to believe reviews,
They're not wrong.
but I am very interested in this character.
No. I love the character.
Yeah.
I don't love what they did with him, but
Okay.
he kind of looks cool in a few scenes. I'll give him that.
So the other real Batman that we saw, everybody seems to enjoy that quite a bit.
Yes, it was very interesting.
It was too long. I think that they tried to build like something to happen, which was the flooding, because they really solved everything right before that. Like, they got to an ending point. You could have ended the movie there, and then suddenly, I got bombs all around the city, so now we're going to flood the city. And I did like the transition of him being all dark and broody in the beginning of the movie, and by the end, people are
kind of warmed up to him.
Right? Warmed up to him, like he's not so sharp and pointy.
He was out in the light instead of in the dark.
Yeah,
because that scene is kind of tense when he's walking through there to the crime scene to see the
bear. I love all that.
And the cops are looking at him like,
the opening scene where Riddler is casing the home is almost as good as the opening scene of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
When Joker's planning his heist.
Yes.
And, I almost wish they'd have kept Riddler a little more in that serial killer mode.
Yes.
I think the plan to flood the city, I thought it was too grandiose, and they were kind of building that up too quickly.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't really maniacal supervillain. He was just he was just this unhinged lunatic who, and if we kept him doing something that would be a little more realistic, because I do think it started to lose a little bit of the grounding at that point. It seemed like a bit much, but I love his being on some kind of a 4chan group or something where he had a bunch of followers who were online and they came to do what he wanted them to do. I thought a lot of that was pretty realistic.
Yep.
I'm a big Riddler fan, and I liked the new Riddler a lot.
So who's your favorite Riddler?
That guy right now.
It may be because, well, I mean Jim Carrey would be last, absolutely, and
if there's a list,
and then Frank Ocean is second, and then we'll put the guy from the animated series. I don't remember who voiced him.
Yeah, I don't either.
But we'll put him third. We'll put him above Jim Carrey. And I don't even know who he is. And then we'll put Frank Ocean number 2. I like this Riddler. He's pretty vicious.
Yeah.
And Paul Dano
yes. Yep. I didn't feel like they needed to give us the Joker yet, but then they released that deleted scene or whatever where Bats shows up to Arkham and wants to ask Joker questions about a serial killer or look at the file and see what you think. Like he's going to him in that capacity, which I don't mind, but I don't feel like we needed.
Yeah, I don't think we needed Joker in there at all.
Yeah.
First, I was like, "Oh yeah, look, it's Joker."
It would be great just to do a build up to the Joker. There's this guy, and he keeps within the movies.
Well, now because he has a past, or he already has a past. He's in Arkham for a reason, so and
his face looked like he probably just freshly fell into that chemical pit, Yeah.
So instead of us getting Black Mask or a Court of Owls, I think for this Batman would be a fantastic story arc. Yeah, imagine seeing this Pattinson bat down there in that labyrinth.
Yeah. Trying to keep his shit together.
End up fighting a Talon somewhere along the line.
Yeah, that was a great storyline.
The Court would look really good in live action. And maybe see some other Batman characters we haven't seen before.
Yes, please.
I'm excited about Penguin, though. I love this guy playing Colin Farrell playing Penguin, and
it's really good.
Catwoman. Let's just keep no Harley Quinn out of it. And,
yes.
No pudding.
Black Mask. I think a better Black Mask. I was not at all pleased with the Ewan McGregor Black Mask that we've seen.
Yeah.
That's not my Black Mask. And
it's okay because he's dead. So.
Well, it's a different multiverse. Did you hear about the Flash? What's your thoughts about that?
I didn't dig too far in it. I heard snippets of he's doing some crazy crap.
Well, he's been arrested.
Oh, he got arrested. Yes, I did hear about that.
And Warner Brothers has apparently
boycotted him,
shut down all future productions with him.
So the recent one that they're working on with him and Keaton?
Where they already have footage and everything.
Well, no, that film's already...
they're probably just post-production effects and sound and music.
Yeah,
and
I mean, they pushed it back to 2023. Wow. But they'd already done that. That has nothing to do with what he's doing.
That's right. There was that. Yeah.
They've just postponed any future projects with him, with that Ezra Miller. So a lot of people think that they'll take one of the few CW guys that people like, the Grant Gustin, and since they can do a multiverse and just use him. But I don't think I think he's too soap opera-ish I think that whole
they've
show
never
is,
really given him a chance to do anything else but what he's doing. I think he would be fine if he would step
think he'd
into
be
a
fine,
larger-
too.
but you can't put all that Team Flash into the movies,
No,
though.
no. But
Keep
they
all-
could still, he could still pull off being the Flash for a giant movie like, Justice League and stuff like that. I don't think it would be a problem with that.
And a lot of the fans would be behind him too, because that show's been how many seasons now?
I think it was 7.
Yeah, so
Now, granted,
and he's been in between with the Arrow.
yeah.
They've interacted them too, and I
But
think that other one, Legends.
They kind of let the supporting cast take over these shows, and to the point where it becomes the Iris show instead of the Flash. I mean,
Well, again, that's part of the soap opera.
yeah.
Right?
Well, that's what a lot of the. It's
TV.
for a different demographic.
Yeah.
There was the
Yeah.
complaint in Arrow that was her Diggle and Felicity were getting a lot more of the. I mean, the season 1 and 2 of Arrow are pretty good. I mean, they're dark. He's out there trying to track down criminals, and he's getting rid of them, and that's nowhere near the character by the end of the show. Which
I haven't finished all of it. I got so far, but
I honestly have zero interest in any CW series anymore. I can't watch them. I tried watching them for.
Yeah, I haven't watched in
I can't.
several.
did you even try to touch the Batwoman or whatever that was?
No. I think I did try to watch one episode, but that's.
Yeah, I didn't.
I honestly I can't believe that they just threw away the Kate Kane character that quickly. Because the actress didn't want to continue playing her, so then they just got rid of her and cast a new lead, like a brand new character, right?
I think that's how it went. All right.
Well, it is. I mean, instead of recasting Kate Kane, they just, okay, let's get rid of her. And she was Batwoman.
And then they kind of made it where like it was the Batwoman show, but she wasn't in it.
Correct. They replaced her with somebody else.
Oh, they just threw in a different actress.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't
So
know.
then it became Batwoman this season is this person, and Batwoman this season is this person. And I can't tell you if the other one had taken over. I don't even know how many seasons there was for Batwoman. So
I think it's still going on. I want to say that the Kate Kane character is just like missing in action.
Yeah.
And so while she's gone, this other Batwoman is taking her mantle. Is that what they're doing?
I believe so. But
I ain't
there's
never
no
watched that.
She was a great character.
I hear about it, but I haven't watched it.
I had her first appearance in the 52 comics when Renee Montoya was a struggling alcoholic detective, and they built up a real relationship between the two of them. It was interesting. And then she became the Question, and they
Yeah, that's right.
that Batwoman was pretty good. And I was really surprised because she was really the first out lesbian superhero I could think of ever, and then just to kind of give her 1 year and replace her. I just think they should have recast her. They should have recast someone to play Kate Kane instead of just replacing the character.
So why do you think it is so hard to make an accurate comic book show or comic book movie or even
Money.
think that's what it is?
I mean, there's effects. It's just like they dumbed down Smallville. Whatever they can afford.
Smallville
with limited
became-
effects. Well, he's not going to fly because we really can't make him fly. We can do blurring, so we'll make him fast. That's why every character had, or it's even like the Supergirl show. It's like, oh, everybody just looks human, and every alien has the ability to look like an alien when it needs to, but most of the time it runs out because they can't afford to do any of that. I think it's starting to become more apparent that some of the creators and writers on previous books are not getting they're not getting paid for some of the stuff that they've done, so they have to come up with new, different stories, and maybe not write as good or change it up.
That's why on The Walking Dead, Dog has survived longer than Shiva the tiger did, because Shiva was CGI, and they could barely use the tiger, Ezekiel's tiger, so they killed her off within 2 years, and Dog has survived.
Well, and then
because we will not watch Daryl's dog get ripped apart by zombies. There's no way they're going to do that. Can't do that.
As far as creating an accurate version, it's money. It's who's footing the bill. Are these going to get sales? These are the views that the character needs to show, and not talk about these other things to, so we can sell tickets, so we can sell more product and stuff like that.
What demographic are you? If you're aiming for the CW, aims for a young demographic.
Correct.
Well, we're not just talking about CW. You're talking about major movies. I mean, you can list, at least on one hand, if not more, movies that could have been a lot better if they stick to the core.
Well, I think because so much of the audience, they don't know.
No, there's so much outdated circumstance or things that happen to some of these characters that people won't be able to follow along. Spend half the time trying to catch people up to now with ideas from the 60s. But, Marvel, there has been quite a few characters I believe they've gotten true and something that we all agree with, like they captured a certain amount of the personality and made it look like that.
Yeah, how many people thought Chris Evans was going to be a great Captain America?
It was great.
And now you couldn't picture somebody else doing it.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., perfect example. But he was spot on to begin with.
Well, he was so good, he created the MCU without his performance in Iron Man. If Iron Man had been a bomb, there wouldn't be any of this MCU today.
No.
Or there would be something, but it wouldn't be as big.
But I mean, what is accurate? What is accurate? Because
well,
we all have our version of Batman. What you would want to see.
Yes.
Want to tweak him just like this or tweak him like that. And it's only because we've seen some of those stories over the years.
Well, you're looking at close to over 90 years worth of storytelling
Built
from this one character.
On top of building.
Like I said about Joker earlier.
Yeah.
Look how many... it's absolutely impossible for anybody to... There is no continuity. There can't be any real continuity in this. How any writer could take over the core Batman title and try to adhere to 90 years worth of storylines, and then having to know all the different crises and what is no longer canon and what is, and that's...
The other thing is that movies and having these people play these characters can only last for so long. So they're going to cram whatever they can, all the best, into that, because people are going to age out. People don't want to play this anymore. What's lucky enough between DC and Marvel, we have certain things in place that we can draw upon with multiverse, time travel. You could easily start all these movies over again and get a whole new batch of people. But how far do we go, or why don't we have more different variety of things out there? Why is it? I mean, how long can you make Batman go on before he just doesn't make any sense anymore? Until he's not that. How far does our world, or the reality that we live in, continue to go and evolve in whatever societal direction that we go? How eventually this character is being like, this guy doesn't make any sense anymore.
There's already people that say that about.
Yeah.
I know people that feel that Bruce Wayne is the villain of the story.
That's interesting. When does it go that direction? When do you go, fuck it, we're going to go this way, and suddenly all these characters, and then you can rewrite them. Oh, that's good guys now. Oh, the bad guys.
I've heard people theorize that if Bruce Wayne just gave off his billions to all the people in some kind of a socialist.
Yes. I've heard that as well.
Well, then nobody would commit crime. Joe Chill wouldn't have shot his parents because Joe Chill wouldn't need that doesn't really work with people like Ra's al Ghul and Poison Ivy and Joker and people that commit crimes based on ideology versus need. They don't need money. They're doing things because they feel the world will be better the way they see it.
Yeah. Yes, but Gotham is run by gangsters and
Mr. Freeze and
thugs and
well, yeah, and gangsters and thugs don't want to live in some socialist society where they only get a small piece of the pie either.
Right.
They want all of
Here's a
it.
thought experiment. Say our country starts fixing certain things. Like that are right. Wow, this is amazing. This is different. You know, people are better off now than they were 50 years ago or 100 years ago. What do those comic books draw from during that time or that new time or in the future? And how does that change that character?
Well, you could say the same thing about how they did it in the past. If it wasn't one villain, like we had war, then it was aliens.
Yeah.
And then it was, you know, I mean, it seems to be always something we'd have to fight.
The, you know, invention of electricity or the attaining of electricity presents new fiction. Digging up old folklore will create new literature. What comes along to where our society would be like, Bruce Wayne and Batman, that doesn't even make any sense.
But you know, people are still reading Shakespeare, though.
Yes. Yep.
So, I mean, some of it endures.
But when people try to adapt it, they're like, well, we're going to modernize this, or we're going to change this.
Well, then the wheel would keep turning in, I say, because it's always going to be like
how
that.
many stories are we retelling now that have already
Well,
been...
Willem Dafoe is going to play Max Schreck, the remake of Nosferatu, 100-year-old film, and they're going to retell it in Symphony of Horror, the German Expressionism classic. But, So, we're retelling that one again.
But how many things have changed that we don't even know? That there was an original story somewhere, and we've just lost whatever that was. Because we take, like, Norse myths, we take Egyptian myths, and we bring them forward in time to adapt, and then other people are going, well, this is what it was. It's like, no, it isn't. Just because it's been produced in the film form or comic form doesn't make it
Well, that's why they
history.
should try to make new characters and make new stories, not just retell
The
Batman
same
over
old,
and over
right.
and over.
But how often does that happen?
Not enough.
You yourself have been, you buy a certain thing. There's certain things you buy. But, and I'm not saying that badly or anything like that.
No, I buy certain things.
But it's
That's
like,
right.
sure enough, going to buy some Batman. How often do you buy other no-name Image books, Dark Horse, where you have original content?
You're taking a gamble.
Yeah.
Am I going to get the same dopamine rush that I get off something I know?
With
something
finding something
that's
new.
trusted, that I know I want to be happy with or assume I'll be happy with, versus something I may just be like,
I thought I bought, I think, three creator-owned things today. Trades is what I bought. Some trade paperbacks or graphic novels, whatever people want to call them, whatever the kids are calling it nowadays. But I bought like 3 of those because I want to read something interesting or something different and see different artwork as well and different stories. I still love the other stuff, but I try to buy because I like the idea of comics. I like how they tell a story. So I try to fish in other places to find different stuff.
really, most of the breakout characters are just attached to other characters. Like in the Spider-Verse, all the Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales and all these characters are attached to Peter Parker. And I think Batman's produced a lot of breakout characters, but they're all related to Joker, or they're all related to
Batman himself.
To Batman himself, or Batwing and Punchline and Harley and all these characters, and Ghostmaker and
But yes, there needs to be more new characters.
Spawn was
new characters.
You could think in your lifetime, in my lifetime,
Modern.
I can't remember anyone except Spawn was outselling DC and Marvel at one point, right?
Yes.
He was the number one book.
Yep.
And X-Men would come second.
Yeah, it was neck and neck for all.
And so when has that ever happened since? So has another character, not from one of those two big companies, outsold?
Has that happened anytime after that? Maybe some small.
Well, I mean, and physical books don't
video
sell
games.
like that anymore either. So it probably will never happen again. The Walking Dead, even when it came out, didn't sell all that much. I don't, even at its height, I don't know if it ever.
Well, we did have Invincible. Invincible was not a well-known
True. Yep.
character.
I remember buying the
and
first
now-
issue just because it was
and
new.
now the Amazon animated TV show that came on, and now he's
Very
blown up.
popular.
Hell,
And it
he's a
was-
meme.
And it was, I mean, isn't it Alex Kirkman anyway doing
Yeah.
part of that? And
Robert Kirkman.
Robert Kirkman, sorry.
Yeah. So he's got all kinds of money.
Yeah. So he continues to do stuff out of the ordinary, which
There's
keep
one there,
that up.
Walking Dead itself. Comic form, news story, took the
How
world
many-
by storm.
How many different Walking Deads is there now?
Well, there's only 2 series left. There's still Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond, which I think only ran 2 seasons. So I think Fear may be the only show still being filmed, which is an odd show. I won't get into that.
And there's a lot of people reading a lot of anime.
What's
That's
the
becoming
point I was going to
very,
say, because you said
very
new stories,
yeah,
new
very
characters,
popular.
and that's what they've done. They've on a lot of stuff they've taken something that you think would be a straight line, and then kind of say, "Hey, let's jump this way on this one," and it'll throw you a curve. There's
So
a
there
lot of
is
different ones.
There is
Death Note.
new stuff coming out. There is.
Yeah. So it's
Sometimes
real
it doesn't
interesting.
seem that way, I guess, because of the circles that I travel in, and action figures and comics or whatever.
Well, yeah, you always go back to what you know and love, but it's like music too. And music is definitely something. I know how you are. Of course, we all like the old classics and everything, but you can only hear them songs so many times before you're like,
before you
okay.
need something new. Yeah.
Right. So it goes hand in hand with that too. So yeah, it's like what you said. Yeah, you need more new. And sure, we can have Batman for a few more years. Just give him some different, more interesting villains or circumstances to go against.
I don't know if I was trying to make a point or not, but
well, we got on the topic.
the idea of how long do these characters last, and that's
long
the
as the
problem. If
imagination
you're still
takes away.
maintaining it, it's kind of like, good God, they're still talking about this.
Well, what
They're
about
still-
when a 15-year-old picks up The Killing Joke for the first time and reads it and enjoys it? I mean, because that's going to happen until that story is so removed from the current society that they can no longer relate to it. So I don't know when that happens. Like I said, in something like novels like Frankenstein, I love the novel and I've read it several times in my life. It's nothing like any of the films that have been made. It's still relevant. Everyone knows who Frankenstein is, and you don't have to have ever seen the film or read the novel, but you know who he is, and you know who Dracula is, whether you've ever seen or read the novel or seen a film. You know the name.
And you can try to modernize it, but it just doesn't really
I'd
work.
go say people like Sherlock Holmes. I mean, there are names that people know, these characters. So I think a lot of it can live on.
I was telling Donnie this. I had gotten I think I took you two guys, but I'd gotten a audio book version of Secret Wars, and it's amazing because you can hear that 80s tone with how the characters were talking and how they were making light of certain subjects, and it's just like it's so wild, and it's like these are the characters, the beloved characters of the MCU that people love, and it's kind of like they would be astonished that, wow, that's what Captain America was like in 1984. You know, it's very interesting to hear and it's like hearing your grandfather talk about segregation, almost. It's like, yeah, we don't talk like that anymore.
Well, because I remember reading those and not knowing a whole lot about Iron Man, and for some reason that they had written, Rhodey was the Iron Man in Secret Wars.
Yes,
Rhodey was in the red and yellow suit.
Yep.
And he was drawn to or attracted to Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, who was also in the Secret Wars world.
Yep.
And I remember reading the thought balloons, and I was just like, man, they're really pushing. Of course, because at the time, I guess the thinking was, well, he's a African-American male character, so he has to be attracted to the African-American female character.
Yes.
He couldn't possibly be attracted to anyone else. We're just going to make him, he has to match that up. And, I thought he was Tony Stark underneath the armor. And I was reading the comic, and it was Rhodey. And so I learned German through, Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Always saying the same phrases in German. And so I figured out what some of those phrases meant. But why would the German guy just all of a sudden, it's always the same couple words, or Colossus would always call people Tovarish. Which, but everything else he said would be in English, but he throws out a few Russian words here and there. So I think a lot of, there was a lot of stereo. We're going to write this big Russian character, so he is going to say this.
Yes, yeah.
And I do guess that
just broad strokes. This is your character.
But I've always felt that, you write what you know. And so these writers
didn't know Russian.
They don't know Russian. They don't know the experiences that a woman goes through in life. It's a different life than what they've led. So probably a more realistic portrayal of who they are, and the creators were. They were basically white guys back then. I'd say almost exclusively.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to look back at it. Now it's a more diverse pool of writers, and I guess you're getting a more diverse selection of stories.
Definitely.
And experiences.
Yeah, women writers and directors. You got African American writers and directors. You got Hispanic writers and directors. I mean, a lot of those are very interesting to look at different points of view. I think the artist for Miles Morales is he's not African American. I think he's Hispanic. And I think a lot of his references into the book are revolved around that too. The lady the artist for Moon Girl, I think she's African American.
Yeah, I think she had an online comic and got found by Marvel.
Yeah.
To do that.
So to write from points of view that is awesome. And it makes it more believable and more realistic.
There was times where I used to work on a book with a friend. Of course, he never did anything, but we would have conversations like, I want these characters, but I don't know anything about them. It's like I would just be guessing on how a black man would react in this situation. And, we were trying to be very conscious about the thought and make something work and different. But I mean, there was times it's like I don't have enough to write this comfortably, to get a good point of view. That's why I'll never be a writer.
Well, Chris Claremont did, besides a few cliches over, I think for the most part he did. He did put together a book that included, the X-Men were obviously a metaphor for many things, and one of them was being hated for who you were. And here he did go ahead and he put together a very diverse team, especially for the time period, and replaced the original team, which was five Caucasian mutants with a Caucasian leader and Professor X, and he turned it into a multi international squad. So I mean that's That was pretty impressive for the time period. And then really you could look at any other book from that time period, and I don't think you had anything close to that. Fantastic Four, the Avengers. Can't think of any other team book in Justice League in DC. Teen Titans.
I was going to say maybe the Teen Titans.
No, I mean, they had some aliens on the team, but all the...
It wasn't all Earthbound. I know what you're saying.
No. And Storm is one of the most important characters of her time. So.
Yeah.
Kitty Pryde also. Storm and Kitty Pryde's relationship was always good. That was the thing. Those Claremont run of Uncanny X-Men, that's one of my favorite comics. And I haven't read those in so long that I don't know if I'd have the same reaction. But
because they were all friends.
They played baseball.
Yeah.
They actually hung out together.
Yes.
So I could reread those over and over. It wasn't just a story about, let's go, bad guy robs a bank and we're going to go stop him.
Yeah.
But
wasn't always just a spectacle.
No, it was about people trying to deal with who they were, like Rogue seeking help. She was a criminal, but we're not going to keep her this way forever. She's struggling. Mystique can't help her, so she turns to Xavier. Rogue becomes a really complex character.
Yep.
So anyway.
So we got 10 minutes left on the podcast. Does anybody have final words?
What's on the agenda for tomorrow?
Sleeping in slightly. I don't know. We'll have to look at what's left and maybe nearby that opens up to our vicinity. Because I would like to be home by no later than 1. But that's just me.
Yes, because it's back to work after that, right?
Yeah, back to
good
Our
old
little
work.
mini vacation will be over.
Our little tiny one-day vacation.
So sucks being an adult. There was
I don't go back till Monday night, so I'm good.
There was an adulting thing that came up. I ran into a roommate of mine from whenever I lived out in St. Matthews, Aaron. I was walking into Target, and he was like, "Wow, there's a face I haven't seen in a long time." I was like, "Holy hell!" I hadn't seen this man in, I don't know, 20 years. I don't know. I feel like that. But yeah, we were walking back, and he's like, "Well, what are you after?" I was like, "I'm looking for the Wolfman." And I was like, "Well, what are you after?" He's like, "I'm looking for Perceptor." I was like, "I just ordered mine online." I was like, "It sucks being an adult, because now you can just order the toys you want online most of the time. And they just ship them to you."
Does that mean it sucks to order stuff online? Or just,
you
miss
like
the
I said,
thrill of the
it's
hunt?
fun to find things out in the wild.
It is fun to find.
I love to hunt.
It's like, "Ooh, it's new, and none of my friends have this." Nah, take a picture, send it to them. So it's really fun to do that. But yeah, it's like, it's an adult. It's like, I want that. Okay, here it comes. 2-day shipping.
Well, see, I like this. I like when we get out and go places because, that's what I said. I've exhausted everything around town. And I know what they got probably almost better than they got maybe. So I'm like, let's go somewhere else. So
Yeah, it's
I
like
was ready.
doing these kind of treks in a single day. I mean, years ago in the city, you hit 5 major spots and then okay, go home.
Yeah, right, go home, right.
Yeah.
So
this was like the...
That's what I mean. There's
new surroundings, new people. Yeah, it's...
You have to wonder how many of these places will survive long run if they're all selling the same things, though.
Yep.
Well, the toy department today was doing business. That's for sure.
No, they're going to be fine.
I heard a guy say in there, he says, "I got to leave now or I'm going to spend too much money." He's like, "I got to get out of here now."
Well, I would imagine they're the big dogs in the area.
Yeah, it was kind of... I said something to Jason about the toy department's here and Queen's Comics right next door. And I was thinking, well, Queen's Comics is probably not selling a lot of toys if next door hasn't got everything. So they had a few toys in there, but it was still like, if they worked together more, it might be more like they could help each other out. But being next to each other the way they
Yeah,
are,
because
I think is
they
great.
solely concentrates on comics.
Yeah. Well, you gotta have cool comics to have the cool action figures, right?
Right. It's beneficial for them both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was some. Was there anything that you saw that was really interesting? The most interesting thing I saw in toy department though was that prototype of Chief Chirpa for the Ewoks line.
I thought it was
Back to Ewoks.
I saw that, and I thought it was interesting that they had the prototype of the Scarecrow out of the Dark Knight line, where everybody's super sculpted but non-posable.
Yeah, you had mentioned that Hasbro was here in Cincinnati, and they had.
Oh, Kenner.
It was
Kenner.
easier to find. Kenner?
Yeah, it was Kenner.
Kenner, yeah.
Okay, so it was easy to find. Or it was more easy to find prototypes here in this city than it would be some other ones.
Well, sure, because they went home with the employees and
Yeah.
Didn't they have signed employees cards or two?
they had some employee business cards from Kenner Toys that were $75 a piece.
Wow.
That I guess they would have passed out, and then you had
They had card backs, unused card
Yes.
backs.
for a Terminator line.
Yeah,
that
for
was gonna
Terminator,
be-
and they had Batman,
Batman
animated
animated.
series, and they were like hundreds of dollars. There was
Well,
a few of them that were like $350 or
because
something.
those were mock-ups, I suppose, that were made,
Yeah.
and they were
Printed
Part
for
of
the
a-
artwork to see how they looked.
part of a presentation to say this
Yeah.
is what we're going to put on this, and the line never makes it. But if you want to look at the popularity of Star Wars, what's this original trilogy with the Chief Chirpa, $4,500 versus the Episode 1 prototypes, and I think Captain Tarples was what $250
Wow.
$250 for a prototype, and I think some of the other ones
There was
were.
the Panthro, the Pophead.
I'm saying the Star Wars prequel.
I know,
figures,
but I'm just saying they
prototypes.
had one right there. It was with the Star Wars. And they
Yeah.
had Panthro, and he was all white.
That was a Funko Pop, yeah.
And he was like $250.
But that's nothing.
That's
compared
nothing
to
compared to-
$4,500 for Chief Sherpa. He's going to be there for some time. Someone eventually will take him home.
But he was very cool looking.
No, he's awesome. If you want your collection to be one above everyone else, you go get him because there's not too many of them. Boba Fett, rocket firing Boba Fett, you can probably put a down payment on a house if you have one. I mean, that's over $35,000.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll show up one day in this city. There probably is one out here somewhere. Taking a bath. Like he does.
Boba Fett taking a bath.
Boba Fett takes lots of baths.
Well, road rash or what is it? Sarlacc rash that he had.
Sarlacc rash. That stormtrooper,
Yeah.
that mystery stormtrooper in the
The
Sarlacc.
mystery stormtrooper. I don't like that part. It's
Yes.
too many questions.
Do you have any theories on that, Stuart?
Why was there a stormtrooper inside the Sarlacc pit? From Return of the Jedi. Tell me where that stormtrooper
What makes you
came from.
think he came from Return of the Jedi? He just happened to be on Tatooine.
It's after the Return of the Jedi, and Boba Fett's getting out and finds a stormtrooper.
Well, maybe he was one of them that was combing the desert when he was looking for the droids.
Correct.
And he just fell in a Sarlacc
Yeah,
pit.
and everybody.
He was walking along.
He
He
was the
didn't
new
see
guy.
the hole because the helmet.
Yeah.
You can't see out of the helmet very good. And he fell in the hole. And
Hey, look at this giant butthole in the middle of the desert. Why don't you go see what's in there?
what's
and
in
they're like, "Where's Bob? I don't know." Bob's dumbass anyway.
He's still out there looking for them George. It's been 3
Yeah,
movies
yeah.
ago.
TK Bob is looking for the.
TK Bob, yeah.
He's looking for the. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that has to be. That's what we're going with. He was
Okay.
looking for the droids that
All
fell
right.
in the Sarlacc.
Yes.
Or maybe
He has been in there
Spaceballs.
since
I like to see
A
him
New
with the
Hope.
combing
So
the
wait a
desert.
minute. They were in the desert close to the Mos Eisley, or at least within speeder distance of Mos Eisley.
I mean, how far is Jabba's palace
great
from Mos
pit-
Eisley?
The Great Pit of Carcoon sounded like it's a good distance from Jabba's palace.
Yeah, because they had to use the big giant boat
big-
to get over there.
the
So
katana
that's sail barge.
to get out there.
Jabba's not going to walk.
But TK Bob,
Well, you'd definitely be waiting a while.
he was on Dewback and got all the
Oh,
way
God.
out.
I don't want to see Jabba the Hutt on a dewback. That would be
No,
awful.
TK Bob was on Dewback looking for the droids.
Well, why wasn't there a dewback in the Sarlacc pit?
Dewback wasn't stupid. It didn't go in the Sarlacc.
It
He stopped real fast.
He was like, jump the butthole. He's like, jump it.
What was
And
all
it's
that-
like, Bantha's like,
all those
not like a
banthas
bantha.
that were
And
getting picked off and
Yeah,
eaten in the Mandalorian, but we never saw a Dewback getting attack like that because they had a little more sense. The broken down.
They were the smart ones.
They were Patrol Dewback.
All right.
Look up the vintage Kenner commercial for Patrol Dewback. It's classic. It's pretty good. Let's see, he makes the noise go, Dewback. Dewback.
Like a Dewback.
Yes.
Okay. This has been Podcasting from Beyond the Grave, our Cincinnati visit. Signing off now. Hopefully come back. I'm sorry for anything that Donnie might have said. We can't control him. And please contact your local congressman if you want him removed from the planet Earth. Thank you. Come back.
It ain't gonna help.